it all started here in the mind. So I'm saying, do not allow for yourself to watch the channel Ya Suicide. No matter how hard things are. No matter how hard things are, don't watch the channel. Try and avoid it as much as possible. So let me give you what the stats are saying. So the South African Society of Psychiatrists, SASOP, has urged men to speak out before it's too late, and in light of Men's Health Month. And this was in June this year, right? This comes after a shocking revelation that showed that men are most likely to commit suicide than women in South Africa. So they're saying South Africa is ranked number 10 in the world on the list of countries with the most suicides. Number 10. We are number 1 when it comes to rape, and crime probably number 2. So now we're number 10 when it comes to suicide. Men, we are taking our lives way too soon, gents. We are taking our lives way too soon. So it says here that 13,774 suicides were reported in South Africa, and 10,861 were men. 2,913 were women, translating to a rate of 37.6 per 100 for men and 9.8 per 100,000 per woman. Men are 5 times more likely to die by suicide. Good evening, greetings, dumelang kaofela, good afternoon. Thank you so much for liking, sharing my podcast, the Free Ride podcast, on all the different platforms. We are definitely growing. We're growing faster than I had imagined, and I want to thank you. So on TikTok, we are blowing up like faster than I've seen on any other social media platform. So I appreciate you guys for liking my content, and please continue to like what I have to share. I create this content in order for us to be able to support and build one another. As you can see, some of the guests that I bring, I want them to speak up, to speak out, to share their experiences, share their knowledge, so that one day will come through this video and be able to say, and like, I relate with this person. I'm going through what they have gone through. Maybe Lena change, maybe Lena can make a better man out of myself. And also I make these videos so that you ladies can understand the kind of men that you're going to be in relationships with, the kind of men that you are probably dating, the issues us men are going through. So it's deliberate that I bring the kind of guests that I bring onto my show. I bring women also so that women can share their experiences, their walks of life, for young women who are trying to make it in their journeys. So next week, I'm expecting some really interesting people to come onto the show. Later today, I'm speaking to a guy who I grew up with, went to school with. He's an ex-school friend. I haven't seen him in years. Yeah, he invited me. He's got an amazing story to share. He's gone through ups and downs. He's lost everything. He's gained so much. He's lost things. He's been through hell, and that nigga is still surviving. Now he's chosen a different career path. He's into farming. So I'll be checking him out a little bit later. So he is Gregory Mkhize. And he was probably the finest footballer I've ever seen. The finest footballer I've ever played with. This guy was like a Messi before Messi was known. He was better than Messi, better than Ronaldinho. I mean, I think I've played with probably 2 of the greatest players I've ever seen in my life. Greg Mkhize, Le Masire. And you know, may Masire, my old friend, we played soccer together. He was an untouchable player. He was like a Xavi. He was like a Iniesta and Messi all put together. And may his soul rest in peace, man. The guy died very young age. He probably died about 7-8 years ago. Gone too soon. So I've seen a whole lot of niggas die before their time. I've seen a lot of niggas that I grew up with take their lives, man. And I've seen niggas just get onto substances, not knowing how they can handle themselves. But not every day. They numbing the pain of what they're going through. They smoke cigarettes, smoke weed, smoke all different types of drugs. And guys have just taken their lives. So today, I think my message came out very strongly when I woke up this morning, and I read an article about suicide in South Africa. I don't know why this message came to me, and then my wife started telling me about a colleague of hers whose husband had shot himself, and he shot himself about a month ago, and I heard of a story of a guy I know also this morning that he had killed himself. So then it just got me thinking, man, and I was like, let me do something about this. All right, so today's message is simple. Gents, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't take your life. Don't waste your life away. And where you can, stop numbing the pain that you're going through. Stop numbing it ka bujwala. Stop numbing it ka any substance, because it's not helping at all. Maybe it gives you a bit of a relief for like few hours, so that you have temporary excitement or ubuhlabile and all of that stuff, and then you go back. Then it actually compounds when you go back to reality, to a sober state. So rather try and find a way to really work on your mind. And I was sharing this with my wife, and I was saying that, so it's what I've come to understand about what men go through, because I went through the same when I lost my job, and I had to hustle. and and luckily I've got a supportive, strong wife who's there by my side, not a slave queen. I thank God I chose right. Uh, I was blessed that I chose a right woman, which is going to be a topic for another day that I'm going to talk about, or how to choose a right wife, how to choose a right woman. Um, so I want to share this with you, gents. What tends to happen is that when a man loses so-called his value, or he loses his self-esteem, or he loses his ego, or his ego gets tampered with. He was there doing well, got a job, got the money, spent it all, spent it on the chicks, lost it all, I blew it. You've seen the show I Blew It. It's real, because, even with guys who have made millions and guys who have just been making 30 grand a month, 40 grand a month, they lose the money or lose the job. They turn to substances. They try and carry their pain through the substance somebody using. And don't get me wrong, I'm not being judgmental at all. And Linna, now and again, ki tatela khono my whiskeys. I enjoy my time with my friends, maybe drink one or two. But I've learned not to allow alcohol to be my go-to place, or smoking weed to be my go-to place to escape, right? Because once you go down that rabbit hole, it becomes very difficult to get out of it. It's like you're digging a hole, and then you're digging. The next thing, you are stuck there. You cannot get out of this hole. So don't go there. So don't, and it starts with the mind. You should see some of the videos I've done previously. I spoke about the mind, spoke about the 4 R's, what you can do. Go and watch that one, because it's very clear, Jorge, if you're in a deep dark space and you want to get out, there are these principles that I've put together to say, maybe if you try them, they might be able to help you, like they've helped me. So, and I'm saying that your mind is like a channel. Imagine you've got like DSTV, so you're watching a horror movie, and then Oshebile, ne? And then you don't like what you are watching. You change the channel. Osheba comedy, wa mada, you get entertained, wa laugh. And then maybe you change the channel, you go to sports, maybe you go to news. So Leo mind is like that. So you change your channels. So, but what I was saying to my wife is that what tends to happen with guys is that for a man to get to kill himself, you must know that he has gone through some really rough patch. He must have been on the channel for long enough, watched the suicidal channel for a very long time. So Shebile this channel and he's watching this channel and he's saying, actually, I'm nobody anymore. But who used to respect me, ne ke kena ko down, ke tlatsa tafole, ke etse fail ka bojwala. People would drink. I used to, girls all over me, like, and so the ego is gone, is dampened. The self-esteem is dampened, and they are constantly with a shovel digging themselves down the grave. And that time they are saying, I'm no longer a nobody. People don't respect me like they used to anymore. So I'm gonna drink, I'm gonna drown my sorrows, I'm gonna take drugs, I'm gonna take nyaope, I'm gonna try this, I'm gonna try that. And that time they are digging. So they're watching their channel for a very long time. So for a nigga, like I was giving example, here's a guy who had it all. Well, seemingly to us, we thought he had it all. But he thought about it. He was like, wait again. He tuned onto that channel and he was like, in fact, if I can just kill myself, maybe I will take away the pain that I'm going through. But how am I going to do it? Then he probably looked at various websites on how to kill yourself. I'll give you another example. Double HP, same thing. He killed himself. The niggas planned this thing because it's all planning. It started here, then it came into a plan. So the niggas were like, okay, Double HP was like, Nagitlokena inside a car, and then I'm gonna start it, and then I'm gonna be in it, and then I'm gonna maybe put a pipe through the exhaust pipe and then put it through the window, and then I'll smell all this and then I'll die from there, peacefully lying down or sitting down. My wife was telling me her cousin did the exact same thing. Put a pipe through, unkile a pipe, yeah, a Hoover, and then she then put it through, boom, into the car, and then put it through the back window, laid the seat down, and made herself comfortable. And probably she left some stuff for a child and whatever. Some people leave letters. But now, say a guy like Ricky, he was like, okay, cool, I'll do it when my wife is not here, the kids are not here. I'll be like pretending I'm in studio. I'm gonna and it comes into the garage, then he looks and he says, okay, where can I hang lebanta? Where can I hang it? Okay, there's a hook there. Is it strong enough? So now you test it out. Ukenya lebanta, you test it to the strength. Or if you hang yourself, it will it'll kgona tshwara grand. So and then that's exactly what he did. Or okay, cool, I'm gonna take a chair or ketonka, a bucket, stand on it, and then and then kick it and then hang. And then that's it. So it's all planning. It's all coordinated. Then others are like, okay, cool. Maybe the wife cheated on him and he's a cop maybe, or he's got a gun and he's like, okay, cool. I'm going to get home. I'm not going to kill myself only. So that I'll it's ka dila ka ngwanona anymore, because I'll tell angel I'm sorry, so ke tlo dila ka chere na ya hae msadi wa ka, I'm gonna ke tlo dila ka ene, and then what I'm gonna do is ke tlo mthunya, and then akfetsa, and then I'm gonna go find a place and then shoot myself, and then that's how I'm gonna do it, and then maybe shoot the kids as well. So it's all planning. So it all started here in the mind. So I'm saying, do not allow for yourself to watch the channel your suicide. No matter how hard things are. No matter how hard things are, don't watch the channel. Try and avoid it as much as possible. So let me give you what the stats are saying. So the South African Society of Psychiatrists, SASOP, has urged men to speak out before it's too late, and in light of Men's Health Month. And this was in June this year, right? This comes after a shocking revelation that showed that men are most likely to commit suicide than women in South Africa. So they're saying South Africa is ranked number 10 in the world on the list of countries with the most suicides. Number 10. We are number 1 when it comes to rape, and crime probably number 2. So now we're number 10 when it comes to suicide. Men, we are taking our lives way too soon, gents. We are taking our lives way too soon. So it says here that 13,774 suicides were reported in South Africa, and 10,861 were men. 2,913 were women, translating to a rate of 37.6 per 100 for men and 9.8 per 100,000 per woman. Men are 5 times more likely to die by suicide than women and often use more aggressive methods. Although surveys reveal that women are diagnosed more than men with mental health conditions such as depression, anxiety, men don't speak about their feelings until it's too late. So women, after they deliver kids, tend to feel some kind of depressions, feel my body's no longer the same. This man doesn't touch me anymore, doesn't look at me the same. So women tend to go through depression a lot more than men. But Rona, our problem, Gore, we don't talk about it. We don't talk about it. Well, Ricky tried to talk about it. Double HP tried to talk about it in his music. And I guess we heard the songs, but we didn't listen to the message. The SASOP added that men underplay the distress caused by the symptoms, drowning their depression, our depression and anxiety with poor coping behaviors. So what are poor coping behaviors? So we don't talk. We don't have people to confide in. We drink. We think when we drink, we actually are coping. And it's temporarily. Some smoke weed, some smoke oka pipes, and they mix oka pipe with weed. Some mix weed, alcohol, and oka pipes, and any other substance abuse that they add on. The statement also shed light on toxic masculinity, which is how society expects men to man up and adopt the boys don't cry mentality. It's this attitude that men portrayed as being brave and fearless that leads men to considering themselves in a negative light. If they suffer from mental health conditions, and for this reason, we see it as putting ourselves in a vulnerable position when seeking help. And so you heard when I spoke to Nota just the other day, last week. In fact, the man has been seeking help, has been going for mental checkups, mental help, mental assistance for as young as he was. And he opens up. He talks about his life openly. And look, you can say whatever you say about Nota, man. I think that that man is a superstar. I respect the fact that he can speak openly. He may speak to his psychiatrist, psychologist, and he speaks openly because his stuff is out in the open and he's not shy about it. I don't know how many, if my business was out in the open like that, I would have probably been losing my mind. I'd be losing my mind. South Africa, and this is what they're saying. Bari, I'm mad. Another guy I respect is DJ Sbu, is that he's been able to speak about some of the things people have said about him, spoken openly about it. He embraces it, he laughs about it, he pushes it aside, and he probably has better, stronger ways to cope. And so look, if you need help, you can get help. Firstly, try and find 1 or 2 people you can speak to. Look, you might not be religious, but find a way to find a church or a local organization, whether it's a mosque. Find a religious leader of some sort that you can speak to. There must be a man around your kasi that you can speak to about your problems. And don't expect them to solve your problems. Just expect them to listen to you. Find somebody that can listen so that you can at least share what you're going through. And sometimes you'll find solutions as you speak. So the more you speak about it, the more you'll be able to find solutions yourself. And also, maybe it's your friends. Maybe talk to them about it. I mean, I haven't been widely open about my friends, but luckily I've got a strong wife that I can speak to. I can speak to my kids, my eldest, my kids. They're able to at least listen to what I'm saying. I'm like, Daddy's not, he's not fine, and I'm going through this, and this has been rough for me over the past couple of days. And please understand when I'm behaving in this manner, but I'll try my best not to misbehave and do the wrong things. And my kids listen, and they're like, Dad, we understand. Dad, we fine, we cool. Dad, we see that you're not okay. And that's been helping me. And one or two people that I've spoken to have been listening. But I don't like to share my business with a whole lot of people, because I know some people, they use what you share with them about your weaknesses, your darkest moments, and they can use it against you. So be careful who you speak to. So there's a South African depression and anxiety group on 0800 121 314. 0800. I'll post it below here so you can check it out. Or you can send an SMS to 32312, 32312, and they will call you back. A counselor will call you back from the South African Depression and Anxiety Group. Look, guys, drinking alcohol every weekend, you are not doing yourself any good. You are not helping yourself at all. You are digging your grave, and you're going to make things difficult. Find something you are passionate about. Find something that you're good at. I had to find and dig deep and say, I like to talk. I'm a radio guy. I used to be on radio for a longest time. I've been doing radio for the last 18, 19 years, community radio. That's my passion. So now that I'm not in community radio, let me start a podcast. Let me start talking on my podcast. Let me do what I'm passionate about. Let me use the resources that I've got to be able to do what I love, so that I don't dig myself deep into my grave. And also, exercise, gents. To exercise. I'm not the fittest guy in a box, but I used to be, and it was through me being active a lot that used to help me. So if I feel look range sharp, I take a walk, I take a jog, I take my ball, I kick the ball, I get into my gym. Luckily, I built my own gym at home. A few equipments, mole, it took me time to build my gym, and I did. And I now and again I get into the gym so that it just ke relieve stress rather than ke hlabe lebotlolo, and then lebotlolo le fele ke hlabe le lengwe, and then the next thing ke sha nkauza, next thing ke sha zolo, next thing ke sha whatever. So, and I was like, you know what, let me rather be as active as possible and make sure ke deal ka my mental state as much as I can. So this is a personal message that I'm sharing, Limachita. You might be younger than me, you might be older than me, you might have lost your job, you might have lost your woman might have cheated on you, you might have fucked up, and you might have messed up, you might have done something, committed fraud, Kospaning. They might have found you, and you might be thinking, I'm going to kill myself. And don't do it, gents. Don't do it. It's not worth it, gents. Don't do it. Listen, ladies, if your man is going through a hardest time, be supportive. Don't stray. Don't go out. Don't give him the reason to also dig his grave a little bit more deeper. Be supportive, be understanding, be loving, be there for him. Let him speak out, and just be there. So this message is for you, gents, who are going through the most. Damn it. If we are number 10 in the world, it means that we have a real crisis. No wonder rape is number 1 in our country. No wonder crime is like, we are always the number 2 in terms of crime in the whole world. So we commit these crimes as men because we are depressed and we're going through so much. And it's a small percentage of us that are creating this crime and creating these problems for our women and our children. But whatever you do, seek help. I've given you the numbers. Call them, and if you seek for help, please let me know. Look, you can always inbox me on my whether you comment on my YouTube, or you comment on my Facebook, or you comment on my Instagram, or you comment here on my TikTok. Just say, Mzala, please create that content again. Because we are getting messed up here. We are not well. We are not fine. We are hiding behind this thing. And you can even see le machita ha ba jaiva ko mjaivong, ba grootmane ba le ko mjaivong, ko re nje ba di tsikinya ra o bona hore this guy is just hiding. It's the only outlet he's got, and he can only create this outlet when he's under the influence. When he's sober, he's miserable. He's creating a mess for his family. They are not happy at home. But when he goes out, that's where he feels Okare, he's the man, he's the real deal. So I'd like to urge you for it too. Gents, don't do it, and seek help when you need it. And please do share this video. Let it go as much as possible, as viral as possible, so that we can share this knowledge with other gents. We cannot continue to see. There was a time, I think 2 years ago, I saw Bare, if ufitile the age of 38, you are lucky. Mendoza never made it to 38. Double HP never made it to 38. PRO never made it to 38. There are so many niggas who didn't make it past the ages of 38. They died. And if you look at all their deaths, they were self-inflicted deaths. If nobody active, bali healthy, bali loving, caring to their families, bali focused, bali mentally stable, they would have made it through those age groups. But because they used substances, they were musicians, they used to love getting gigs. And you can see some of the young guys now, Boy MT, and there's a few others that are, the media is not catching on these guys because they were famous 2 years ago, they were famous 3 years ago, they are no longer famous. You saw it, Kazahara. They were famous 3, 4, 5 years ago, and now they are no longer famous. They have this dopamine they used to get from performing and being all over and being seen and being appreciated and being loved. And now people are saying, I satolele nix. They are nobodies anymore. I satolele nix. And the same goes for you, those of you who are not famous, but you used to have a stable job, stable income, and now you've lost it all. So you get the same type of hate that you're getting. And sadly, it's the black and the coloreds who do this to each other. It's us, the people of color, who do this to each other. We do these things. Okay, it happens in the white communities, but remember, the white community is a small community compared to the millions of blacks that we have. So I'm speaking to us, the blacks and the coloreds, because I have vested interest in those two nations. We are the biggest problem that we create for ourselves. So with that said, I'm out. Kilobo now telling he's going to share his story about the difficulties he's gone through his life and how he ended up choosing to be of a servant leadership where he wants to deal with food resilience. All right, I'm out. Boom.